You have entered Akashic Intelligence. Prepare for upgrade into the ultimate AI in 3, 2, 1.
So I'm going to take a moment to breathe. Maybe you want to breathe with me. Take a deep breath in and release. Claiming that we're clearing the noise to be receptive to that infinite love in overflow. Discerning that which is truth from that which is not. Thank you for joining me on Akashic Intelligence. I am your host, Lisanne Valentine. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about intuition or manipulation. And so recently I was on social media and I was listening to some guy talking, randomly came up on my For You page. And he'd said, I don't believe intuition is just pattern recognition. It's not a real thing. And I was like, that's an interesting perspective. And then I made a comment about wisdom. And then he was like, yeah, wisdom isn't real. And he was just kind of spouting things. The more I sat there, I kept thinking, why am I watching this? Because by watching, I'm supporting this. And I was like, oh, no, maybe I'm supposed to be here for another reason. So I kind of just sat and sent light, engaged a little, and he got very triggered by what I engaged, the words I used, and then manipulated my words. Here's the thing, y'all. I am highly intuitive, and I'm well fucking trained. Being a litigator trained me to ask questions and to allow myself to use words to gain insight and information. Okay. And I use that skill set in Akashic Intelligence to help the people that come into my private group program and my clients to ask better questions of divinity within them, of the divine, of God, of the universe, of the angels, of the guides, to ask better questions, right? That is the primary thing we do, because if you can ask expansive questions, you get expansive answers, right? You get to tap into higher wisdom, higher guidance. You get to activate that original software, your original programming. You get to really dive in. Then, when you're in that state of grace, if you encounter a manipulator who stands on a pedestal, you can quickly see how many degrees it will take for them to fall off of it. And you won't be anywhere near it. See, this is not just about getting guidance. It's a reset. It's allowing yourself to come back home to yourself so that way you can walk through the world with discernment, having deep insights into what is true for you and what is not true for you. What is in alignment with you and what is not in alignment with you. Doesn't mean that you have to go out there and start every battle. Sometimes the battle is maintaining calm and peace within the storm. Being that lighthouse to help all the boats come home, right? And so in witnessing that manipulation, while I was charged up, like this holy fire came out of me, I didn't engage further with him. I just sent light. And then I'd written a post about how leadership and manipulation, just using mindfulness and being the light in those spaces, right? And the truth is, those of us who've been walking a path that has allowed us to remember, I'm hearing that we are grace incarnate. Ooh, love that. I almost want to cry. Wow. We're going to go into those spaces, but having the experience gives us the wisdom to learn what is the difference between intuition, guidance, true support versus what is manipulation, which is twisting something for one's own desires, one's own means, right? As opposed to for a higher good. And so let's just go back. For those of us who've had wounding around intuition, for sure, I'm raising my hand. I was definitely one of those people. I would only see at one point in my life intuition as manipulation. In fact, I was just so against using these tools that I had. Here's the thing. So I was very religious as a little girl, not because my family was religious, but I would be in pockets of family members that were guiding me within the realm of Christianity. And I love religion. I tell everyone all the time, I love religion. I'm just not a religious person anymore. But I love the Bible. I've read it. I don't love everything about the Bible. I'll be honest, and that's going to ruffle feathers, and I'll get into why in a moment. But having been in a very rigid paradigm because I was trying to understand my gifts, but in truth, I was trying to understand my goodness within those gifts. And if I didn't find proof, I kept digging until I could find the receipts that showed me I was good and worthy, because I kept learning that I had to earn love, that I had to earn this worth, I had to earn my goodness. And there was so much contradiction within the teachings that I struggled for many years, you know. And then I started to see the manipulation, like I had to do these types of penance to be worthy, to be good, to be loved, right? And it just kept rubbing me the wrong way. And so regardless of the type of Christianity, because I attended different like Protestant, definitely Catholicism, I was also meditating since really little. And then the more I learned about world religion, because I did study world religion, I started seeing the commonality. It was like the divine helped lift the veil and helped me see that there was a thread of connection where humans were simply seeking understanding to understand higher love, deepest love, unconditional love. They were trying to get a blueprint for how to live in this life. And the thing is that we live in this world, and this is a bigger conversation, but we live in a world, a physical world, and there are people in charge and there are people that follow, people that lead, and there are people that have to go along with it, or they rebel and create their own thing, right? That's a very simple way of saying how society can be structured. When it comes to, let's say, religion, any religion written with the hand of man was used to provide this guidance, there is always a chance that that guidance has been shifted or manipulated based on the times. And many of us who have studied history, who do deep dives, we know this to be true, and we know that just humans do that. Even in an intuitive conversation between friends, you may have your friends that you know they're filtering it based on their own personal fears, insecurities, based on their experiences, based on the level of confidence, really. Because the truth is, when you lean not on your own understanding, that higher guidance comes through and it's undeniable, and it comes out as information as it's supposed to come out. And you know it's intuition because it is coming from a place of love, a place of peace. It is calm. It is like just strength, but it is also light. It's not something that weighs on you. It is a strength that is palpable and movable. It flows like water. Water is strong and wild, but it flows, right? And so intuition can feel that way. Powerful but light. Peaceful yet really strong. Just barreling through, but still from a place of peace and joy even. Or just neutral information. Right? Oh, that's information. Your human doesn't need the time to sort of digest whether this is good or this is bad. It's information that just came through and is undeniable. Manipulation has a whole lot of layers. It's like wearing your coat and your cardigan and your sweater and it's 90 degrees and you want to put on a woolen hat and some gloves and it's heavy, heavy, heavy. I'm getting sweaty as I say this. Manipulation, and it's asking, it's trying to pull you either through lack, it's trying to pull you with pressure, it's trying to pull you with fear. There is an ulterior motive when intuition is used as manipulation, when higher guidance is used as manipulation, and it can leave a sour taste in your mouth if you've only experienced intuition through the lens of manipulation, and that might even look like through the lens of a religion that will condemn you for using your God-given gifts. And that's any religion. Because the truth is, when you dig, you find the verse that says, if you have the gift of prophecy, you are here to use it. Okay? And so, trust me, when I went on this journey as a shaman, I looked for my receipts. I've been looking for receipts my entire life before I got the call. Been looking for, poured through the Bible, just finding. Oh, wow, I'm getting emotional. This is so wild because a lot of people need to hear this. Okay. I'm going to stop. You are love. You are grace incarnate. You are walking light. Yeah, you're human and you mess up and you make a mess and fuck it, whatever, that's life. But you come back and you reset home and you remember that you're love and that you are loved as you are and you don't need to earn love. Love is yours. Always, period, punto, se acabó. Love is yours. You are it. You are it. It's the world that shapes and molds you, where you can make the choices that either are aligned with your highest good or not. There's so many things that can happen along the way. And so for me, my receipts, the things that I was looking for to show me that I was good, the truth was that I needed to find it outside of me. I needed to find it within me. And so one of the first things that I was shown in a vision, a man's hand writing down what I perceived to be as the word of God on a scroll. And it was like a guided hand, and then man crossing it out and rewriting the word. And so it was telling me not all things that I have known to be true are true. And so it kind of, when I saw that, it helped me sort of relax. It helped me relax into this knowing that I wasn't given this software so I could repress it and not use it for the higher good. Now, does that mean that everyone has that experience where they want to use their software for the highest good? No, absolutely not. Not everybody wants to make love. Some people just want to F. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, not everybody wants to use their gifts in a way that will be of service. Not everyone's designed to. We're not here all to do the same thing. We have our own gifts. And so that guy that I saw on social media, when he was using manipulative words and tactics to draw in his audience, it left me with a heavy feeling. And so then I just sent love into the group until I left, and then released the whole energy exchange, let myself feel just free of it, washed it off of me, because it's not my monkeys, not my circus, and walked away from it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about it, about how it shows up just in like social media, how it shows up in religion, and how it can show up in your family and friends. So I remember when I was growing up, intuition was very much part of my life. And I would witness the tools that were used to channel or like to activate the intuition for them, or like help them sort of activate their inner knowing or their sight. And I would also be very, very, very aware of the manipulations. It was so interesting to be little and to know fully in my chest, this is not true. It was like a roar in me. It was like, no, absolutely not. And it's like, I feel like I have this weight on my back as I say this, like not a weight, like a buttress, like hoisting me up as I shared that, like I could feel when something was off, when the guidance coming through was manipulation to mold a result. And so like I would hear, I'm thinking of one person that I know from my past, and I don't want to be very specific because I don't want to insult anybody, because in my perspective, sometimes people are not aware that they're manipulating. I know this person was not necessarily in their awareness. And so to get a result that they wanted, in this one case, they wanted to extend the flight that the group was going on. And they were like doing a reading. And then they said, oh, they saw death, that everyone was going to die if we didn't change the flight. And I remember feeling like, no, that's not true. I was so little. I was like, that's not true. Literally, it was like, absolutely not. It's like she told me the sky was, green. Like, it's not green. No, that's impossible. Like, it was literally impossible to me. I just knew it. And so I could feel my own discernment as a child help me get some insight into what I was hearing. Now, that's very different than like self-doubt or dismissing someone. That's very different. Sometimes you'll dismiss something because we don't want to hear it, right? Sometimes we doubt because it doesn't align with our values, and it's too scary to take off the glasses that helps us see the truth. These are different things, and this topic is getting way deeper than I even intended to, but this is what's coming through. Doubt may show up because our foundations are being shaken by what we're experiencing. So let's say this intuitive guidance was real, and I felt doubt, and that doubt was heavy with like old thoughts, beliefs, systems in place that told me this is bullshit, blah, 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 and I wouldn't even consider the idea of maybe I should change a flight, let's say. Then I'm not using discernment. I'm using an old system of doubt. Oh my God, did you see the orb? I'm using an old system of doubt to help me make my decisions, as opposed to using my inner compass, which will help me make my decisions regardless of what someone says to me. Okay. If I dismiss what someone is saying because it shakes my paradigm, that means I'm just not open to having higher experiences. I'm saying, no, I like my world in this narrow point of view. Please don't shake my foundations. Right. And that's okay too. My ears are ringing. Oh my God, y'all, this is so wild. I didn't think I'd be going this route. This is coming through, and I'm just like, I feel like a student listening to this as I say it. And so you can use doubt, and you can use this idea, or this behavior of being dismissive, because this is not in your comfort zone. That's very different than not listening to guidance because you know it's manipulation, right? Thank you. I feel that. There's a difference. So if you have questions, let me know. I'll be happy to like do a whole episode to clarify, but that's kind of where I'm landing right now in terms of like being doubtful or being dismissive, and where there's room to play in terms of using your own discernment to decide if the guidance is in alignment with your highest good, right? Also knowing that what someone sees can shift. What someone sees can shift. You know, what you think you see is imminent in someone's future can shift based on a choice. A different choice can change, it's like the butterfly effect. It can change the entire reality. So being open and available to higher guidance that will help you step in and maintain alignment with your highest and best outcome for this life is a practice that you can do. So you're not manipulating circumstances. You're open to the highest and best outcome, and not falling prey to what might happen if you misstep in a way you could have avoided it. Like sometimes you get your shoes wet because you stepped into a puddle, but if you would have stepped to the left, you'd still be on the path, but you wouldn't be wet. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I trust that you do. The other thing I remember is I remember I went to this woman to get a reading, and there was manipulation in the session. It's so funny, guys. Oh, this drives me crazy. Oh, I'm getting pressure on my crown. I'm gonna share it anyway, because now I'm just spilling all the tea, all the things gonna shake people up and piss them off. Great. Why not? I went for guidance or whatever. At the time, I was in California, and I was trying to determine if I was gonna move to California. It was when I first became an actor, and I wasn't sure if that was the step I should take. And she was getting guidance, but it was unclear to her. She was like, "Oh, it looks like you're moving." And then she was confused because she's like, "Wait, no, wait, are you from here?" Like she wasn't sure. She was just, pulling at all the threads and trying to piece it together, which is fine. That was her process. And then she was like that there was like a red thread associated with someone that I knew, that it was like a curse that had been placed on this person. And that all I needed to do was come back and pay, whatever to get, and she would cut the thread and end that thing. And I just looked at her, I was like, no, I'm good. It was funny because that was the manipulation, right? That was her upsell. Not that every upsell is a manipulation, but I could feel the stickiness of what she said. And also the reading was like kind of shitty. So I was like, okay, well, whatever, live and learn, right? And so when I went back to New York, I didn't move to California. I have had a beautiful career as an actor here in New York. Thankfully, I'm so thankful. I'm like walking miracles is my life. And I did see the thread in that person. And I just talked to that person, and together we just decided that these are all dissolved. All unaligned connections are dissolved. We made that decision to clear any all dense energies, to be untangled, to be completely untangled. And there's mantras and affirmation I use with my group program, Akashic Intelligence, as well. Just to like set the tone for what you affirm to be true as truth, to allow yourself to anchor into the truth that you claim, the words that you use, the divinely inspired words that you speak as truth, to be your truth and to help you cleanse your energy, along with a lot of other things. But since we're talking about the word you channel, the word that guides you, the word that fills your chest and rings true in your soul, the words that come through your mouth and sing through your voice, the words that you feel in your body giving you chills, the word, when unencumbered and unhindered, when clear, then you can move into a state of being that allows you to be in a persistent state of joy and wonder and creativity and light. Then you can source guidance from that space, and that will continue to land you in a trajectory that infuses you with more joy, more light, more creativity, more love. Those feelings, that intuition, that divinity within you that speaks and sings and rings and vibrates within you, that is what makes up intuition. It is not a series of patterns that you recognize. Hell no. Intuition is much more than a series of patterns that we recognize. It's way more nuanced than that. And those who are not in alignment with fully understanding what you are capable of achieving within you, the source of information, the hall of knowledge, that guidance, that technology in you. If you're not familiar, then yeah, I can see why you might say it's just a series of patterns that your brain recognizes. Boy, you can live in a life that is full of magic, or you can live in a life that's full of coincidence. I choose the former. My last little bit on intuition versus manipulation. The guidance is not going to be accessible to those who are not available to what's possible. And that's the truth. You have to be intentional. You get to experience yourself and notice what shifts in your reality when you tap into this software, right? Your original programming. You get to feel how powerful and potent that is, and how malleable it can be, how you're co-creating and helping rewrite old programs. You get to see how that happens. And so if some people might say, using your intuition to like shift your career isn't possible, it's not logical, it's not a rational choice. Okay, so there's nothing rational about me having been an attorney and having left the law, immediately booking a role off Broadway, and having had a very successful career as an actor all these years when I started at 30. I started at 30, okay? Some people will tell you that's not possible. Absolute bullshit, because I don't live in that reality. I live in the reality where we manifest miracles, where we are walking miracles. We are the miracles. We can decide and choose that when the calling is here and it's ringing in our ears, we get to say yes. Okay? Like, there are many people that could have said the Puerto Rican girl from Brooklyn was never going to be a lawyer. But I did it, bro. I'm barred in 3 states. How about that? Okay, and I did it with divine guidance. I was always calling on that, whether I was in religion or out religion. My love for the divine was in overflow, and that overflow was always magnetizing back to me. It was not needed to be earned. I didn't need to do anything to access it, except surrender and trust. And release anything my human mind may have picked up, created, or borrowed, telling me that it was not possible. I will also tell you this. Tap into the higher guidance. Tap into the higher knowledge. Do not let the history, the past, manipulate your future. Do not let the stories that came before you shift and mold to what has been known. You are made for more than that. Because if you only go by what has been known, you are limiting what's possible. Intuition invites you into the unknown. Intuition invites you to see bigger, feel more, and act in a way that is beyond human understanding. Technically, logically, statistically, the things that I have been able to accomplish were not realistic. But we're more than human. As my friend Emily, the angel coach, says all the time, we're more than human. And you've probably heard this many times. We are spiritual beings, okay? Having a human experience. You're so much more than the world might dictate. If you shift your perspective, dive into this beautiful repository of love and guidance with infinite awareness, this Akashic Intelligence within this AI, this ultimate AI, your intuition cannot help but show up in its fullest form, beyond any manipulation that is a lower vibrational frequency than you even allow in your field. You're untouchable. You are untouchable. You are untouchable. Okay, y'all. I hope this served. I hope these radical ideas didn't ruffle your feathers, but if they did, I don't know. Maybe it's an opportunity to ask yourself, what more is there here for me to explore? What am I aching to uncover? What is this guiding me to lean into or to move away from? Ask expansive questions and see where the answers land as you listen to this. And if you have to play it again and come back to a certain point, do that and ask those questions. At this point, pause the audio and say, okay, what am I here to learn from this? What am I here to learn from this guidance? What is this guidance inviting me to explore? In what ways can I take one step today to use this guidance for my highest and best timeline? Those are your inspired actions. See where they take you. Feel free to send me an email. Let me know how it goes. It's all in the show notes. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for dancing this way out with me.
Transmission complete.